Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell, this is going to be my 14-15 week pregnancy update. I like to do them every 2 weeks just because I feel like more things are going on when you do it in that span versus every single week when there's not so much going on. And as you guys can tell, the video that I posted was my pregnancy announcement. If you guys want to check that out, I will go ahead and leave it in the description box down below. And then this one, I told you guys in there that I was going to be doing pregnancy updates. I decided that I wasn't going to start those updates right away, only because I was still in my first trimester, and I feel like in the first trimester, not so many people know you're pregnant. There's not so much maybe going on, at least how I'm feeling, because in these I'm going to be explaining symptoms of how I'm feeling, how the baby's growing, and all of those things in between, questions that you guys may have if you leave comments down below, and all of that good stuff. So I decided to start it once I was 14 weeks. This way I was into my second trimester, and I can, everyone knows the news. I can share it and post it on here without being, worried about someone possibly seeing it. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining to you guys basically how I was feeling in the 14 and 15 weeks of pregnancy, and different things that just were going on throughout my body, and changes that you should be experiencing that I maybe did experience or did not. So in the 14th week of pregnancy, it says one side effect of pregnancy all women have to deal with is conflicting information and advice. This basically was just telling me, if you guys are wondering also, that I am using the, let me just see what app it was, because I do have two different apps that I use. The first one that I'm using is the Glow, which Glow is for when you're trying to conceive. I had that one, and then it tells you to download the Nurture app once you notify the Glow app that you are indeed pregnant. So I'm using the Nurture one right now. So it just basically gives you different things along your body and such. So I'm just going to be explaining to you guys that. So for the 14 weeks of pregnancy, you finally are entering your second trimester, which is when you should be feeling a whole lot better, they say. So in my first trimester of pregnancy, I unfortunately dealt with nausea every single day, all day long. I luckily didn't really have any vomiting. I maybe threw up maybe once or twice at the most, but I was unfortunately nauseous every single day, to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes, because on top of the nausea, I also had extreme exhaustion. So just those two in combination just kind of made it really hard for me to go about my day, get things done. So the first trimester was really difficult for me, and I experienced all those negative symptoms. So I was just really excited to get into my second trimester, because they say all of that's supposed to go away. You're supposed to get this boost of energy and feel great and amazing. Unfortunately, I will say in my 14th week of pregnancy, I am in my 16th week of pregnancy. So like I said, I'm just going to be explaining to you guys what happened now that I completed 14 and 15 weeks of the pregnancy. So for the 14th week, I was just really excited, thinking all of these symptoms were going to go away like they said, but unfortunately I didn't experience that. I was still feeling kind of nauseous. It was slowly starting to subside, but the tiredness was still fully there. So for the 14th week for the baby, okay guys, so I am going to actually go into my other app. Yeah, I'm just going to go in the Baby Center app because it's just a lot easier. It explains your baby, your body. The other one was just a little too difficult to explain to you, since, as I mentioned, I'm in my 16th week, so I kind of have to backtrack into this app and just kind of show you guys how it appears on the screen if you do decide to download it. So it just says here 14 weeks of pregnancy, and it shows here, as you can tell, it just shows it right there, 14 weeks. It shows your baby, you, and all that good stuff. So 14 weeks pregnant, it says that your baby is now the size of a lemon. It says this week the big developments about your baby is that your baby can now, the big developments are that your baby can now squint, frown, grimace, pee, and possibly suck or his or her thumb. Thanks to brain impulses, your baby's facial muscles are getting a workout as tiny features form one expression after another. The kidneys are producing urine, which the baby releases into the amniotic fluid. You don't have to worry about the baby although the baby's urinating, it's not so much at the stage where, you know, you have to worry about them swallowing it or anything like that. The baby is able to grasp, so I thought that was really cool. And sometimes if you're in ultrasound, it says that you could see the baby sucking his or her thumb. The last ultrasound that I had was at my 12-week appointment. So once I was finishing up the first trimester, they like to do a ultrasound and everything like that. So in that particular one, we got some really cool pictures. You can see the baby kind of has his or her, because we don't know the gender yet, his or her fist kind of standing up, and they had their feet crossed. And in one moment when the ultrasound tech, she was looking at the baby, and then we turned around just kind of talking with her, and she looked back at the screen and she said that the baby had flipped over, done kind of a little tumble-salt inside the belly. And it's just so weird that you can't feel anything yet, but the baby is definitely moving around and doing a lot of things in the belly already. So that was that. And it says that your baby is, like I mentioned, the size of 11 and weighs 1.5 ounces. And the head is still larger than the body. So if you guys go in for an ultrasound and you see that the head was big, my husband tends to have naturally like a larger head. And I remember when we first went into our first ultrasound at the 8-week, he was like, oh my goodness, the baby's gonna have a really big head for, like, you know, like daddy. But luckily they said, no, don't go by that. Not until your 20-week is when they do the measurements of the head and the body and all of that really important into detail things. So yeah, so at this stage, at the 14-week, the head is still larger than the body, and you would see that if you have your ultrasound then. And then as for me and my things, as I mentioned, that in the 14-week, it just says, you know, congratulations, you reached your second trimester and you should be feeling better. I just explained to you guys that unfortunately that hasn't happened for me. I still get, you know, bouts of nausea. I'm still very tired. So, you know, during that 14-week of pregnancy, I didn't notice any big changes or anything like that during then. So that was for the 14-week. And then for the 15th week of pregnancy, it just says that your baby is now the size of an apple. Your baby now measures roughly 4 inches from crown to rump and weighs in at approximately 2.5 ounces. So it went up from 1.5 ounces to 2.5 ounces in just 1 week. And it also says that in this stage, they're of course moving around a lot and busy in your amniotic fluid. Your baby's legs are growing longer than his or her arms now, and he or she can move those tiny joints and limbs. So they're definitely doing a lot of movement in there. And it says, although your baby's eyelids are still fused shut, he or she can sense light. So they say that if you shine like a flashlight or something like that, or if it's warm outside wherever you are, unfortunately it's winter here, if you tend to kind of just lay out in the sun and let the sunlight directly hit your bump, that the baby will kind of, you may be able to feel the baby move or go towards the light, because that of course is going to attract them. And it says there's not much for your baby to taste at this point, but the taste buds are of course forming. And it says you may be able, in your upcoming ultrasound, be able to find out whether your baby is a boy or girl. And don't be surprised if it remains a mystery, because nailing down the sex of your baby depends on the clarity of the picture and of course your baby's position. For me, I asked my doctor when the soonest would be that I could find out the gender, because I am super anxious and I am a planner and I like to know things ahead of time just so I can really just, you know, plan for it. My husband, he actually wanted to wait until we gave birth to find out the gender of the baby, but I told him this is our first and I really just can't wait that long. So we did decide that we were going to find out the gender and we're going to do a gender reveal party. But my doctor said the only way of finding out the gender, it would have been able to find out as early as the 10 weeks. If I wanted to pay additional out-of-pocket money that was not covered by my insurance to do some blood work, and they would be able to determine the gender that way, or I would have to wait until the 20 weeks of pregnancy so that they can find out the gender that way. So I did already make my appointment. As I mentioned, I'm currently 16 weeks. They get booked up really fast, those 20-week appointments, so I had to make sure I, you know, made my appointment for that. And I'm actually going in when I'm 19 weeks, because he said it wouldn't be a problem if I go in when I'm 19 or 20 weeks, because the baby's already developed and they can see everything that they would need to see. I'm going away when the baby's 20 weeks, so I just wanted to make sure I did it before. Otherwise, I would be super anxious and I wouldn't enjoy my little getaway that I'm going on. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. On my 19 weeks, we'll be finding out the baby's gender. I'm going to be doing a gender reveal, so I'll definitely be sharing that here in my channel. Some cravings that I tell you guys that I have been having. I've been really craving lots of salty things in my pregnancy, like just chips all the time. Every time I go into the supermarket, I have to buy like a bag of chips because I know I'm just going to be craving it, and that's kind of like my go-to snack. I'll have breakfast, and then I would say about an hour later I'm kind of hungry again, and I'm just thinking about those chips. So I'll go ahead into my, pantry and I'll grab a bag of chips and kind of munch on those. I didn't think I was craving sweets, but I did go for a checkup to my dentist to get my cleaning done, and they said that they found just 2 cavities on my lower part of my teeth. And he says that that tends to happen during pregnancy because you may not realize it, but you may be eating sweet things. So the only thing I can kind of attribute that to is I do try to make a fruit smoothie every morning to kind of get those servings of fruit in and kind of make me feel better throughout the day, possibly give me more energy, and all of that good stuff. Other than that, I haven't really been craving anything. Bump shot of showing you my belly. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions whatsoever of things about the baby, things about me, just go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to answer it in my next video, which will be my 16-17 week pregnancy update. So let's just get up on here. I'll move the chair back. I'm going to lift up my, sweater just so you guys can see it a little bit better. It's gonna look a little weird because I have these leggings on. They're not maternity leggings. I've been wearing, when I wear my jeans, I don't fit into them anymore. I do have to wear the belly band, which has been, a total lifesaver. But I am getting ready to, my mom is actually going to be purchasing pregnancy clothing for me so I can get nice and comfortable since my belly is starting to grow. So I am wearing black, so it's going to be a little hard to tell. I'm going to move this chair a little bit so it doesn't look like that part of the chair is my tummy. So that's my bump right there. As you guys can tell, this is just kind of the front angle. And then along this side, I don't know if I should maybe pull this down a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So there's baby and what they look like now. Here she's definitely growing. I am applying oils. I have it right here. Let me just show you guys really quick. I have been applying this bio oil to the belly, and it's just to get rid of any type of, this helps with scarring and stretch marks and everything like that. So I just kind of rub it all over my belly. I do apply to my breasts because they have went up about 1 full breast size. So I apply this to my belly as well as my breasts to just, so that I won't hopefully get any type of stretch marks in those areas. So yeah, this is the bio oil, and I'll go ahead and leave a link down below to this as well. Alright, so I think that's everything I had to mention. If I forgot anything, I'll go ahead and leave it down below because I have been suffering from pregnancy brain. I can't remember half the stuff I'm supposed to do. Alright, so I think that was everything. That I had to mention to you guys, and that's about it. I will talk to you in my next one for my 16-17th week update. Bye!